try it, I believe in it, and if we just do that, something so simple, it will change a lot of lives.
Hi, welcome to the first episode of the series 100 Successful Women, a Conversation to Inspire. I am super grateful to finally launch this series of conversation with these 100 inspiring women. I am pretty sure their story will inspire and empower more women out there to be living true to themselves, believe in themselves, and have the courage to step out of their comfort zone to do what they really wanted in life. So today on the first episode, I am so happy to have Kaley Chu to join us. If you did watch my intro video, this 100 series was inspired by Kaley's 100 Lunches with Strangers. Even though I had the idea of interviewing with these successful individuals, but then I only decided to start this challenge of 100 after I attended her live event here in Sydney. I thought she's someone who is dedicated and her story inspired me a lot. That's why I thought I got to tell her about my challenge, my mission, and ask her to be my first guest. I am so grateful when she said yes to me, even though I know that she had a very tight schedule. I really appreciate her for saying yes to me to join me on this series. So everyone, let's all listen to what Kaley has to share with us and her tips for us women out there.
When Kaley Chu moved here from Hong Kong, she was just 17 and filled with excitement, but painfully shy. After 12 years down under, she found that her entire community was made up of fellow Hong Kong nationals. Hoping to make new friends, Kaley made some bold changes.
The married mum of two began inviting strangers to lunch. 100 of them to be exact, and it changed her life completely. So much so that Kaley became a TEDx speaker. Have a listen to this.
I remember that lunch that I had with a billionaire. That 3.5-hour lunch took my life to the next level. The food was sensational.
And now she's sharing her lessons for breaking out of her comfort zone and your comfort zone and connecting with people, real people.
Today, I'm so grateful to have Kaley here with us to share with us her story. And for those of you who listened to me before, I did share with you guys this series 100 Successful Women, a Conversation to Inspire, was actually inspiration from Kaley from her 100 Lunches with Strangers. Thank you so much for being here with us, Kaley.
Thank you so much for having me. It's my honor to be your first guest. I'm excited.
Thank you so much. So Kaley, for those of them out there, the women out there who don't know you, do you mind to share a little bit about yourself?
Like I said, I think I'm just super lucky. I'm just a super lucky girl, really. In 2018, I started my personal challenge. I said I'm going to have lunch with 100 strangers because being here in Australia for 12 years, I live in my little bubble. Like I only have 3 friends and my husband, and that's it. No network, no nothing, and very lacking confidence. And I thought that would be a great challenge for me to build my network and build my confidence. But little did I know, it completely changed my life in every area possible. So since then, I published a book, I've done a TEDx speech, and I became a keynote speaker and a coach and helping people to connect and grow together.
Wow, that's a lot that you have done, Kaley. It's so inspiring.
Oh, thank you. It's been a few years now, so it gave me a few years to do what I want to do.
Wow. So you were saying that you started this journey of 100 Lunches with Strangers back in 2018.
Yes.
So aside from trying to get out from your comfort zone, is there anything that inspired you to start this journey?
Mainly just to connect, because I think I got curious. I only hang out and spend time with people from my hometown, which is from Hong Kong. Like I said, 3 of them only.
Mm-hmm.
And I started to get curious after being in Australia for 12 years. And I go, okay, how do other people live in Australia? And I want to make friends outside my little bubble. And also, like I said, I want to build my confidence as well.
Mm-hmm.
but I have two young kids. They're 6 and 9 now, but when I first started, they're like 2 and 4, something like that. So weekends are just for family and busy, and evenings are just chaotic with young kids, as we all know. And lunchtime is the only time that I've got to help myself to grow. Yeah.
Wow. So you were saying that if I don't heard it wrong, you were saying you have only 3 friends for the 12 years you are here? Are you being exaggerated, or is that for
Average
real?
of 3 friends, sometimes even less. That's quite sad. Like when I was in uni, I have a little bit more, maybe 5 or 6. But that's like the entire 4 years period of like still hanging out with the same people, and then they graduated and they went back home, and I've got a couple of new mum friends again from Hong Kong, and yeah, really 3 friends.
Wow, that's amazing. Look at how have you changed from being only 4 or 5 friends during that time, and then look at how massive you are today. Because I guess I've been to one of your live event here in Sydney, and then reading your book 100 Lunches with Stranger, and also I know that you are a very successful speakers, having been on a few speaking gigs from that shy little girls to today. So, what are the things that you think is one of the success factor for you to become who you are today?
Thank you for all the nice, kind comments, by the way. Success factor, there are so many of them. I don't know where to start. The first one really is to meet people, because success leaves clues. You know, if you follow people who you want to be or who you admire and follow their footsteps, then very likely you're going to get very similar result. And throughout my Lunch with Strangers journey, I met so many people that I admire and respect, and I really just learned from them and get tips and strategies from them, and from there I learned a lot. So that's one important lesson that I've learned, is proximity is power. So spend time with who you want to become, and other than that is just keep doing what you need to do and being consistent as well. Like doesn't matter what that is, everything's when you first start is hard. Like when I first doing Lunch with Strangers, it is hard for me as someone who's like shy, lacking confidence, you know how to talk to people, but it gets easier and easier. And for public speaking, the first time I did it was terrible. And then as I do more and more, then that became my career and I start to love it. And that's the same for anything in life, you know, running a business, relationship, or even something like baking a cake. The first time is not that great, but as we do more and more, and it's gonna get better.
Yeah, I love what you were saying, that everything when you start something is not going to be easy. And I think the hardest part is always the first step. Once you started that first step, you get more and more experience in doing it.
Yeah, just don't give up and just start, because no one start perfect. So it doesn't matter where you're at. If that's something you want to do, just start and keep going and you will get better and better, I promise.
Love that. Just do it, like the Nike slogan, right?
Yeah, just do it.
Yeah, I really love that. For those of you out there who haven't read the book by Kaley, 100 Lunches with Strangers, because there are so many stories in there. Of course, with this session today, we can't tell the whole story, everything from the book. I really suggest you to buy the book, because for me, I'm not a very good reader myself, to be really honest, but I find the book is very easy to read, and you have a very sense of humor. I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, and one thing that I'm curious as well, because as a woman, we want to inspire more women to get out of their comfort zone, right? But as a woman, we sometimes feel that very insecure for this meeting up with strangers. So how did you feel about that, Kaley?
I think just like I said earlier, when I first started, it's definitely not easy, especially I met my husband when I was 13 years old. We started dating when I was 14. So I have not even been on a date with anyone else other than my husband when I first started my Lunch with Strangers journey. So everything was a little bit awkward and weird. I didn't know what to do. But everything will get easier. And yeah, I don't know, but I do feel very safe the whole time. Like there's not one situation where I feel unsafe, because I think I always first I met people through LinkedIn, so it's kind of like a professional platform. I stalked them a little bit, and I always meet them in a public place, and I do like a little bit introduction to them before I meet them on, in person, so they know that I'm married, I've got a couple of kids, and I just want to grow my network and learn from each other. So yeah, it's been a very positive experience so far.
Wow, that's very important for us to know what we are doing, right? Because like you say, that they are from a professional background, and then you like give them hint beforehand that you're married, you're with kids. Well, that's a very important. I think that's a good suggestion for the women out there to get out of your comfort zone, just do sensible thing, I think. Yeah. So throughout these challenges of 100 lunches with strangers, obviously that's not a short period of time, it's a year project, is that right?
Yeah, 11 months, so almost a year.
Wow, 11 months, that's quite a long time. So throughout these 11 months, what are the challenges that you face?
Time management would be one, because I've got 2 kids, I've got a full-time job, and it's really, we have to find time to commit to it. Yeah, just like, people going to the gym and having six-pack, they really commit to going to the gym every day. That's why they've got a body to show for. And at that time, from time to time, I struggle to find time, but then I still, just make sure that's something that I do. Not every day, but, about two lunches a week, to keep the momentum going. And
2 lunches a week. So at the time, your kids are still really young at time?
Yeah, my kids are still young, but it's more about managing my work as well, because I've got a full-time role. I have to make sure that I get everything done. And sometimes I think I'm really grateful that I've got, 2 bosses that's really flexible as well. So sometimes I have a long lunch, like with conversation just so good, you don't want to stop. And then I had a long lunch and they didn't say anything as long as I complete all my tasks or the work that I need to do. And sometimes I stay back to finish the work. Yeah.
Wow.
Like.
Yeah, I did see in the book that you say one of the longest lunch probably is at 4 or 5 hours. That's super long.
That was the record at that time. I still remember her name is Katrina, and then she's still a friend of mine, and it's really interesting lunch. But no, my record now is 10 hours. Technically, the lunch is not really a lunch anymore. So he is actually my mentor now. I'm super grateful. So I met him through one of my mentor. He introduced the other guy to me, and then we had a lunch. I think that lunch was about 2.5 hours long. It was such a good conversation that he said, do you want to come to meet my wife and we can continue to chat? And then he's got another meeting, so I chatted with his wife in his house for another, I don't know, 3-4 hours or something like that. And then he joined back the conversation, and then the 3 of us went out to have dinner together. So that meeting was like 10 hours long, and that's definitely a life-changing one.
Wow, that's so inspiring, because obviously that's not really a lunch anymore. It's like a really long conversation that lead to somewhere.
I think it's never lunch. Lunch is just what we do. We eat, so that is something to do and an excuse. It's all about the people that you have lunch with. It's not about the food. It's the connection, and what can we do with the connections, and what happened after the lunch.
Yeah, I really like you're saying that one connection can change your life. That's so true. I think for many of I think those who follow your path after listening to your story, 100 lunches with strangers, it changed a life. And indeed, you changed a lot of life out there as well.
Oh, thank you.
I remember when I was at the Sydney event, there's one guy who actually inspired by you to do 500 lunches with strangers.
Yeah, his name is Nick Bendel. I'm so proud of him because I watched his transformation as well. So he's from Sydney, I'm in Melbourne, and I think he had about 290 lunches now, like to date. And I was his very first lunch guest. He flew to Melbourne to have lunch with me, and at that time he was still a little bit unsure, asking me other questions, what if people rejected me, and but now, as you can see him last month, he's totally super confident and has a massive network, and he's thriving in different areas of life, and I'm just so happy for him.
Wow, that's so lovely to hear this kind of story. Like you share, you are the light and you are shining to more people and bringing more lights. That's just a ripple effects that you are doing here.
Thank you. I think it's important, to help other people to shine brighter, and so that we can all spread more positive energy and, positive impact to more people in the world, because there's only so much I can do. The best thing I can do now from what I can see is connecting people together and help other people to do what I've done, and so that they can help more people as well.
Yeah, I think it is very important for people to be humble like you. I think you're really humble. It's not only that because you are so successful nowadays, and then you're not become someone who, like, I think some people when they get, I'm not sure you understand that when people get successful, they forget about their purpose, or they forget about their root. But then I can see that you are so humble, and then you are like still doing the things that you initially are doing.
I don't know. I think maybe first of all, I spend so much time around those extremely successful people around me. So that made me keep me humble and go, hey, I'm still like a long way to go to where I want to be. And more importantly, strangers really changed my life, and I'm super grateful for them. And without them, I wouldn't be who I am today. So of course, I'm just grateful and thankful for people. And yeah.
Love that. So what is there anyone that in your life that inspired you?
So many. It really depends on what area we're talking about. Like I mentioned, my network was so tiny before. So other than my husband and a couple of friends, then there's nobody in my network. So anyone that you can see around me now, including, my business partners, or you can see the proximity to this power peak of the community, or the executive team people who's growing the community together. My best friends, and everybody is through lunch, really. So
if you have to get one who is like inspired you to maybe to share with all the other women out there, is there one particular one who inspired you to become who you are today?
So many of them. I think one thing I love to talk about is a ripple effect. Sometimes it's not even like that person you have lunch with, is what happens after that lunch. For example, I had lunch with a guy named Mark Chen. He told me at that time he's just like a marketing guru. Fantastic. And then we connected well. There's a lot of common interests and things like that. So we talked for, I don't know how long we talked for, but we had like 2, 3, 4 lunches together just to learn from him and, help each other, just become friends, really. And then after the lunch with strangers event, like not events, but like the whole journey, he's the one that told me, hey, you've got something really solid that you should publish a book. I forgot to tell you that 10 years ago, I was working in a publishing house, that maybe you should do a book and I can help you with that. So without planning anything, he helped me to publish the book. And then he shared my story in his Facebook, which, just a little share. And then one of his friends saw it, and she's like, I like your story, and I've got about 10 mentees that I'm coaching at the moment. Do you mind coming to our office and share your story with them? I'm like, okay, I've never done that before, but I'm happy to. And she invited me to an office. There are 35 people waiting for me in the room. That was my very first sharing of my story. And again, what I didn't know was the CEO of the company was sitting at the back listening the whole time. I'm like, wow. And then I had lunch with him, and then he gave me my very first speaking gig, as in like a national conference that I'm sharing my story. And then from there, he called his other friends, and then he got me into other speaking gigs, and that's changed my entire career from a financial planner into a keynote speaker, from one connection to another, to another, to another. So
that's definitely so true when you say one connection can change your life, and that's ripple effect.
Yeah.
Wow, I literally have goosebumps listening to that from one sport to one bigger circle. That's really, I think, something that a lot of women out there should really remind ourselves, that don't restrict yourself with your small bubble and get out of your comfort zone. And because if you don't try it, you never see or know that there are these possibilities in you. So for yourself, Kaley, do you ever think that you will become a TEDx speaker, a keynote speaker today, like today?
Absolutely not. Like not in the wildest dream. I've never thought of that. When I was young, all I wanted to do was just be a mum. So I got married early. I got married when I was 22, first son at 24, second son at 27. I thought my life would be just being a mum. I love what I'm doing, and I'm still very proud that I'm a mum and I can spend good quality time with my kids, and that is still super important for me. But what I didn't expect was everything else that I'm doing that I'm very proud of, that I feel like I can set a good example for my kids. I go, hey, if mommy can do it, you can do it too. And indirectly, I also got my kids more opportunities in life and things like that. That made me really happy.
I think I saw one of your video where your boy, I'm not sure the younger or older one, he was speaking on the stage and he was sharing, I think, his story of him skiing. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm so proud of him. He was 8 years old and he did his first public speaking in front of 100 people. And from there, I can see, because kids are like, they copy what adults do, right? So you can tell them what you want them to do, but they basically just copy what their parents doing. So when I was shy and introverted and like that, so my kids is very similar. I got feedback from the teacher saying that you've got the sweetest kids and they're lovely, but they're super shy. They never put up their hands, they never share in class, and just very shy. But now, like you say, my older son's doing public speaking and now he's almost like a leader in the class and being a lot more confident now. So yeah, that made me really, really happy. It's felt like being an Asian, he's like the fourth shortest one in the entire grade. But I hope that he's not listening here. But I'm so proud of him that it doesn't stop him from anything. He's like one of the tiniest kids in the grade, but then he's so confident and he's just doing all the thing that he's doing that just made me so happy.
Oh, you must be really proud of him, and I am so proud of him too. Yeah, it is like always a saying that actions speak louder than words. The kids don't really do much about what we tell them to do, but then they see us as an examples. And I think you are a great examples, a great role models for your kids.
Oh, thank you. I am very happy and proud of my kids.
Well done. So as a mom, like you say, yes, kids really look up to us. And like you say, you got lots of the activities you're juggling especially when you were working full time. So how do you juggle between your family and work at time, and especially you still have the time? You mentioned about time management earlier, to manage the time between home and family and having all these lunches. Have you ever a time that you feel really stressed, or how do you manage that?
Now it's all about quality time. So I work hard during working hours, and when I'm not working, I spend quality time with my kids. Like this weekend, we're going to see bees. I'm really excited about it. I don't know how my kids just got into bees, like so random. But then I found like a beekeeper somewhere in the north in Melbourne, and then we're going to see how beekeepers in action. We're going to wear all the protective gears and see the beekeepers getting the honey from the bees and the hives and stuff, which I'm really excited about. So it's all about quality time with the kids, and and then I outsource everything now. Like I don't even do housework anymore and cooking, because it's a business grow, it demands more time from me, but then that's also allowed me to delegate some of the work that is not as important for me fairly wise. So I just work on the business, what I want to do, and the family.
Wow. I understood that. I understand that now you are mentioning about this quality time, and then at where you are today, you are having no issue with delegates, and you can have your VAs. But for all the women out there who are in the startup process, or they are thinking to start a business, but they are not as successful. So in between this stage of starting up and to a successful stage in between, when they don't have the capitals or the investment for VAs or delegation, what are your advices for them?
It took me 3 years to build my business to where it is now. So before that, I've done a lot of work myself, as in, sleeping late, getting all the work done, and putting the kids to bed at 8:30, and then I still need to work till, I don't know, midnight or something. So I do a lot of work myself. But at the same time, I've been told that you don't get rich. You don't delegate the work after you get rich. You delegate the work so that you get rich, because now you value your time more. Because imagine if you get one client and you get paid, I don't know how much, say $200 an hour for your consulting work. And then it makes no sense for you to do the work that's costing you, I don't know, $30 to get a cleaner, when you can delegate that work and then make $200 per hour for doing what you do. So some people, that's what I've been taught by one of my mentors as well. Some people say you delegate after you get rich, but no, you delegate first, then you get rich.
Yeah, that's a very good piece of advice to all the mompreneur out there, I would say. Love that when you're saying that we don't delegate only when we are rich. And then, like, I think there is this saying that a use of the time, because it's a return on investment. Probably, like you say, the consultation fee is $200, but then getting a cleaners only might be $35 an hour. So if you calculated that, it's more worth it if you delegate the time out and outsource it.
And also, I think I've been through a period of time where just the house is not. I think I've been through a period where the house is just not as clean or tidy as you want to. But I think that's another conscious choice that I make. We only have 24 hours a week, so 24 hours a day. So how do you delegate the time? Family, business, or doing things? So some sacrifice.
Yeah, definitely. That's like to depends on what are your priorities in
the
life.
short term.
That's right.
Yes.
Thank you so much for that. That's a great piece of advice for all those women out there. So let me see. Among all those lunches that you have, is there any particular one that maybe a very important one, or the one that you probably never forget in your life?
Again, so many.
If you have to pick one.
I don't know. There are just so many of them. One story that I share a lot is the chairman of a listed company, that he made me realize that I can just be who I am, because there's a matter someone who looks like super extremely successful with a business that's 9-figure business, not even 7 or 8, it's 9-figure business. He asked me for relationship advice because he had a fight with his girlfriend the night before, and I thought I would be asking him for investment advice, but turned out that he asking me for relationship advice. And I somehow, the day after, he messaged me saying that he got his girlfriend back together thanks to my advice. And after that, he took his girlfriend to my book launch, and he donated 100 surgeries to my charity, which I'm like, wow, first of all, one thing led to another, which is something I never thought was possible. And second of all, I always felt self-conscious, especially someone, immigrants, English not my first language. And I felt like I'm kind of inferior. I'm not good enough. And, I'm always, like I said, inferior. But now I feel like, okay, we're all equal. Yes, he is more successful. Yes, he makes more money. But there are things that he does better than me, and there are other things that I do a little bit better than him, and I can teach him something too. And that made me really, really happy to just start to embrace more about who I am, and I can just be myself without trying to fit in or trying to pretend to be someone else. I just enjoy my life as who I am.
Wow, that's so true. Be yourself. A lot of time people like, yeah, we do have that self-conscious thinking that we are not as good as other, but I love that you're sharing that we are equal. So maybe they are very good at something, and then we got something to offer as well, no matter what.
Yeah.
Very good message for all the women out there. And then I love that because I always wanted to share a message, which is unleash your lioness within, because I believe that every woman have a lioness inside there, which is like it was covered up and hidden inside you. And then, like you say, You have totally have your lioness unleashed.
Yeah, I believe in that too. Yes. And the more you do, the more you realize that, hey, there's still another level that I didn't know that's possible. So yeah, keep doing, keep going. It is
Keep
fun.
doing, keep going. That's
Yeah.
right. So, I think one of the other questions that I would like to ask is if you can choose anyone in this world to have lunch with, who will you choose and why?
Wow, so many people that I love to have lunch with.
Mm.
Just now that hearing this question, the first one that come to my head is Melanie Perkins. I don't know if you know Melanie Perkins.
No.
She's based in Australia. She's the founder of Canva. And she's just like,
Okay.
wow, she's like an inspiration for me. Like she's so young. I think she's about my age, early 30s. And she builds Canva, like not only because it's like a 2 point something billion business nowadays, but also just looking at her passion and how she revolutionized the whole industry, the design industry, and disrupt the whole industry, and hearing her story, how she started, how she never gave up, and how she get the funding, and now how just seeing how Canva got better and better. That's just so inspirational. And I always believe that who you spend time with is who you become. And I love to spend time with someone like her and just learn from her.
I think that shouldn't be too big problem for you to have lunch with her since she's in Australia.
I hope so. I hope that it will happen soon.
Yeah, it definitely, I think it will be
Can
happening.
you help me send this recording to her?
Yeah, I will scrub,
And go,
I'll
hey, Kaley
make
wants
this
to
part,
interview
just
you.
tag her.
Please. Yeah. And
That's
then
a,
I'll keep messaging, and hopefully
yeah, I
one
think
day she's gonna say yes.
that this part of the video will obviously going to be sending out, sharing by someone. Maybe one day it will go to her. I think this definitely will be a reality for you.
Thank you.
Okay, so what do you have planned for the future? I know that you are currently having some coaching session, or you are also offering courses for others. What are your next step from here?
So many. First of all, I still want to keep my good work-life balance. So I still want to spend good quality time with my kids, weekends, holidays. This is important for me. Business-wise, I want to do more speaking. I'm very excited that I've got a few big ones coming up, and I love sharing the message, how important connection is and how one connection can change your life, and sharing the story, inspiring other people to connect. That's important. Coaching business, I love to help other people to build their personal brand or give them more confidence and unleash, like you said, the lioness in them, so that they can have the confidence to achieve whatever they want to achieve, and give them a little bit push on, okay, these are the template I use, this is the roadmap, and help them to achieve whatever they want to achieve a little bit faster. So that's the coaching business. I still want to host more events. I love, the one that you went to, seeing all the magic happen, seeing all the new connections and new inspirations and everything that comes through people. I love that as well. So hosting events, and also in the medium to long term, I want to build an app to connect people together. So those are the 4 areas that I'm working on at the moment.
Wow, that's so many things that you have planned, and I love that you have the mind of like not only connecting more people, but also like sharing with them, teaching them on how to become better like you are.
Yeah, and then we can all learn from each other and grow together.
Wow, that's great. So I think we are towards the end of the interview now. I would say not interview. I don't want it to sound like so formal, but then the end of our chat now. I really appreciate what you are sharing with us here, Kaley. So is there any one particular question that you will want me to ask that I haven't asked?
No, I'm very happy with all your questions so far.
That's great then. So I really appreciate you for jumping on here to share your stories, your inspiration for all the women out there. So before we end this conversation, what is the one piece of advice you would like to give to other women or others lioness out there?
Never let your comfort zone limit your potential. Keep meeting people because strangers are just friends that you haven't met yet. And one connection can change your life and you can change your destiny.
Wow, I love that. I really love that message. That's always remind myself as well. I love that when I think this is one of the message that you write down on the books as well.
Yes, because I stand by it. I believe in it. And if we just do that, something so simple, it will change a lot of lives.
That's such a great message. And so for all the women out there, if they are thinking to reach out to you, where can they find you online?
I am everywhere. So just search my name. Is there? Yeah, Kaley Chu. Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, TikTok. Just started using that. Yeah, or I also have the community, which Vivian's part of as well. Proximity is Power Peer Group. I host that for 2.5 years now. Every single Wednesday, we catch up on Zoom. It's absolutely free of charge. Just a platform for us to grow and connect together. So come and join us, everyone.
Yeah, I really love that group because I have been sharing with a few of my friends and they join the group as well. And hopefully they will join the Zoom on every Wednesday night as well, because like you say, we are the average 5 of the people that we spend the most time with, and definitely join the inspiring women like Kaley.
Thank you.
Okay, so I think that's all for today. And then thank you so much again, Kaley, and looking forward to maybe have more conversation in the future and then see how you go.
Thank you. Definitely. We'll stay in touch. Thanks, Vivian, for having me today.
Thank you.
Thank you.